So the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection recently got a brand new update with a bunch of new stuff, which has got people wondering, could this potentially be hinting at a Marvel vs. Capcom 4? So we're gonna put on the tinfoil hats for this video and break down some of the new stuff that could potentially hint at an MVC 4. So if any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button. And if you're new here and you'd like to stick around, you can subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. So starting off with this brand new update of a bunch of new stuff for this MVC Fighting Collection. We're talking new artwork, new music, the number 4 showing up everywhere. Now look, the rational part of my brain says, oh, this is just purely a celebration of an incredible collection of games that we didn't think we would ever see. For the longest time, people were asking for a proper Marvel vs. Capcom collection, free MVC2. Michael B. Jordan was talking about it. Maximilian Dude was leading the charge. We didn't think it was ever going to happen, and then it happened. It's incredible. So maybe these updates are just that, a thank you and a celebration to the fans and to this incredible collection. It finally came out. It seemingly sold very well. If I remember looking at the Amazon sales, it was constantly in the top 10 for PlayStation 4 games in particular. So I think a lot of people got their hands on this game. And all the new stuff just might be Capcom and Marvel's way of saying thank you. But there are a lot of things here that don't just feel like purely celebration or even a coincidence. And it kind of feels like it's heading towards a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 announcement of some kind, hopefully, this year. Starting off first with that Shinkiro art, which I think is brand new. I personally have never seen it before. I think it was done specifically for this Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And what's really interesting is that this artwork in particular, granted it's Shinkiro, they've got their own style, but it's completely different from the other artwork that's used to promote the game. Specifically the box art, that's its own completely unique art style, which looks great, but Shinkiro is like one of the best out there. The way they draw these characters, I think Shinkiro's style might be my favorite for these types of characters from Marvel and Capcom. It just looks incredible. Also, Morgan, wow. She looks good, but also the number 4. There are 4 Marvel characters in this artwork and 4 Capcom characters, but they all kind of seem to pair up with one another. You've got the 2 demonic-ish characters with Morgan and Blackheart, the 2 captains with Captain America and Captain Commando, the 2 slightly futuristic cyber ninjas with Psylocke and Strider. The only odd ones out are Spider-Man and Akuma. They don't really have much in common other than the fact that they're probably some of the more iconic representatives from Marvel and Capcom. Everyone knows Spider-Man, and even if you don't play fighting games, you probably know who Akuma is. He's just too iconic of a character, so that could be the reason why those 2 people are there. But they all kind of just pair up nicely with one another. Parties of 2. Is it a coincidence? Probably.
But wait! There's more!
Next, we have probably one of the more interesting updates, and that's the music. So starting off with the track that's been there since the game's launch, the credit theme being titled Promise of Reunion, which kind of maybe feels like, hey, this could be hinting at a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, a proper reunion of Marvel and Capcom, hopefully this time including the X-Men. I'm looking at you, MVCI. Something people have been waiting for a very, very long time. But the rational side of my brain says, oh, promise of reunion. It could just be speaking towards this collection in general. Again, we didn't think we would ever get this collection. People have been screaming from the rooftops for a very long time that they wanted some sort of collection to come together, and now we got it. So technically, I guess you could consider that a reunion of sorts. But then, the number 4 shows up again in the form of 4 brand new songs from the in-house Capcom band Cap Jams, who are incredible. I feel like they very rarely miss with their music. It's just such an incredible blend of old school Capcom style with some of the modern twists with their sounds. It's incredible. Also, the new Cyclops theme might be my favorite of all of these new tracks. It's just so funky and groovy, and again, really kind of screams old school MVC and X-Men vs. Street Fighter, but also has some new tastes added into it. It's really, really awesome, and you're probably hearing it in the background of this video as I speak. But then, there is the theme of Captain Commando, which is a banger. It's incredible from start to finish. But speaking of finish, the last section of that song is completely different from everything that led up to it. Now granted, there are a lot of songs out there, whether they're video game songs or movie songs or songs you'd hear on the radio, that have ending arrangements that are vastly different from the rest of the song. That's not really anything new. A lot of composers like to do that. But the Captain Commando one in particular is just so different. At the very end of the track, it turns into this like jazzy lounge kind of music, almost as if we're in a lounge waiting for an announcement of sorts. Maybe a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 type announcement. But then it even transforms further into something that sounds completely different, which, you know, could be indicative of music for an MVC4. This is not copium. This is hopium, okay? It's a very positive thing. We're just kind of connecting strings together and pointing some stuff out, which again might just be purely coincidence. And all of this just kind of begs the question, why continue to pump money into a collection of older games? Again, it could just be a celebratory thing of congratulating, you know, the fans of like, hey, we put this together finally and you got it. But collections like these don't really get these types of updates very often, if at all. So it feels like it's a pretty big deal. And again, the 4s are everywhere. There's just 4s left and right, up and down, wherever you look. Now, the possibility of a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 happening really does seem more possible than ever, not only with this collection, but with it being so much more in the public eye now. You had people like Maximilian Dude and his development team putting together an incredibly cool, crazy mod for MVCI with MVCI and Beyond, which gave the game a visual facelift, added a bunch of costumes in different colors for characters. A lot of really hard work and love and effort was put into that project, which again just kind of shined a light even more on the brand of Marvel vs. Capcom. Plus, the folks over at Marvel, specifically Marvel Games, seem to be not only much more open to doing gaming stuff again. You see successes like Marvel's Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. There's going to be a new Wolverine game that's coming out. They're working on a Blade video game. They brought back Marvel Ultimate Alliance with Ultimate Alliance 3. Plus, the return of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Marvel Games producer Laura Hathaway even did an interview last year on a big Marvel podcast talking about the comeback of Marvel vs. Capcom, and she would go on to say, "We're always looking for ways to really surprise and hopefully delight our fans. The idea of bringing Marvel vs. Capcom back was always really, really exciting to us, so we're glad to finally be able to announce it." So clearly they're aware people want MVC, they want more MVC, and I can't help but hope in the future there could be a proper MVC4. So again, it could all just be tinfoil hopium, but who really knows what the future is going to hold for Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm just excited that we got it. I love fighting games. I grew up playing them Full transparency, I'm not very good at them. Evidence of some of the gameplay you will be seeing in the background of this video as B-roll. I was never quite good at fighting games, but I was always enamored with the characters, the stories, the world, the lore, the music. Oh my god, like fighting game music permeates my life. In my videos, you're constantly hearing like Tekken music in the background. Music from Street Fighter or Dead or Alive. It's incredible. But I've just always been enamored with this genre in the FGC and just seeing how it brings people together, whether it be on a competitive scale or a supportive scale. It's super awesome, and it's one of my favorite aspects of gaming. So with that being said, that's the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this tinfoil hopium a lot of us seem to be having lately for Marvel vs. Capcom 4 potentially being a thing. And I also would like to know, out of the new tracks they added to this fighting collection, which is your favorite? Mine is the theme of Cyclops. It just sounds incredible, so funky, so groovy. I've been listening to it non-stop since it came out. I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.